welcome to a horror console, your weekly podcast where we talk about spooks, frights, scares, and stuff that terrorized us during the week. My name is Corpse, and with me is my horrifying co-host and undead wife, Student Loans.
That was way more terrible than it was even when you initially told me about it last week. Wow, that was pretty freaking bad. But also one of the most horrifying things ever.
Right?
Especially now that you got to pay on them again.
We'll see what. I think as a society,
I don't think Sleepy Joe's doing anything to benefit us anymore.
no, as a
He couldn't
society,
get away with it.
as a society, we should come together and decide not to pay these, so that they all default, and all of these people that give out money for students go out of business, and then they're like, "Well, got to make education free." So that would be very, very nice. I would absolutely love that. But is it going to happen?
No, it's not.
And that is the scariest thing of all to realize on this creepy October. It's a cold October.
It's very, very cold and very, very wonderful.
I love it.
I am so excited.
This morning,
it feels magical.
When I stepped out to walk the dog, the sky was blue, the birds were being fucking
And it
annoying.
was cold.
And it was cold, and I was like, oh, yes.
You can deal with the sun when it's cold.
I can be outside.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, you do not loathe the sun when it is nice and cold.
And I think it's pretty scary that I like being outside when it's cold, because I am not an outside person. But hey, if this is your first time or 156th time coming into the show, welcome. We're glad you're joining us for an episode of A Novel Console. We hope you stick around, have some laughs, and maybe find some new things to enjoy. If you want to reach out to us, you can do it on our socials, which is basically at A Novel Console on every platform, or you can email us directly at anovelconsole@gmail.com. Or if you would like to support us, you could do it over at patreon.com/anovelconsole, which we are working a little surprise for our active patrons, and I think they are going to love it.
You say this like we've actually put anything into action.
Well, I just need you to...
You're brainstorming.
I just need you to ask.
You need me to ask for it.
And then it's just a matter of getting it done and shipped out.
Yeah,
right?
True.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, what's your part?
You should tell your friends about the show, because sometimes when you do that, they'll listen to us. And you should leave us a review wherever you can. They help us be more discoverable. We have a Discord channel. If you would like to join that, send us an email saying, I want to join your Discord, bitch. Or go to our Twitter X whatever account thing and look for the pinned tweet X thing, Bob Jig.
Which is at A Novel Console on every single social media.
Everywhere.
Right. The only other one that comes close is you, but it's at A Novel Kingdom.
And that's only books.
Yep.
Not books, games, and food.
Just books.
Yes.
Right. So, speaking of Discord, we had a Discord member upload something awesome to our Dank Memes channel. And that was a cover of him singing All I Want for Christmas Is You. And that was Mo. I forgot to say Mo uploaded it.
It was freaking beautiful.
Right. And he said that he sounded awful singing it. And it was awesome.
So I'd love to hear what he sounds like when he's good.
Right.
Like, that was awful.
Everybody else was like, it's awesome. It's so good. And he's like,
it's a terrible song, but it's a great
right. He
rendition.
He was like, oh, shucks. Like he turned into Goofy, you know, in that meme where he's twirling his ear.
Oh my God. I can't.
That was Mo every time
with
somebody
the googly eyes.
Right. Every time somebody complimented him, he would turn into Goofy. So if you want to see it, join our Discord. It's free. There's a bunch of awesome people there. You know, there's Burger Champ, there's Thrak, there's Will, other past members that have been on the show.
Honorary members, not past members.
Honorary members.
Yes.
Well, members of Discord.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
You can share your Legos, your video game collections, your book collections. Talk to everyone. Everybody's super welcoming, super friendly. It's a great, great community. And
if and when 30-day challenges come back, you can participate in those.
Those will come back when Champ decides to bring them back.
I said if and when. If.
So if you want those back, you're going to have to talk to Champ.
I do. I want a book challenge, but I know most people are not going to participate in that.
It's probably going to be you,
Champ and Carmen.
And Thrak.
Yeah.
Maybe Will.
Which one? Not Carmen's will.
No. Will
Whatever his
I don't
name
wanna,
is.
I don't want to say.
you don't say his last
No.
name if you
License
do know
to
it.
Will.
Yeah, him.
License to Will, not Cypress or what Carmen's Will is. But yeah.
I have no idea what his name is on there.
So yeah, join our Discord. It's a fun time. You're gonna love it. We've had a couple of new people join in, and I'm guessing they've been busy, but they do chime in every once in a while, and the community's very
I'm not busy and I never chime in.
right. The community's been very welcoming. It's a great Discord to be in. If anything, you'll learn about games and books and stuff and food. You can post your food too, which if you cook and you think it looks awesome or you think it's good, you can share it there. Sometimes we share recipes, not all the time, but sometimes. So yeah. So Karen, do you have anything else for intro topics before we go into book talk?
I have officially begun my Duolingo journey.
Oh boy.
Why? Because Marla, who is a patron,
Yes.
but doesn't ever listen to us.
Right.
Watch her have started listening, and this is how I find out that she started listening again, because she's going to hear this. She probably has not started listening again. Anyway, my Orlando bestie, she decided to join Duolingo's family plan because she cannot stand ads. So she will always pay for free subscriptions if it means not having ads. So
maybe we can convince her to get Hulu.
Oh my God. So she texted me and was like, "You want to join Duolingo?" And I was like, "Why?" And she's like, "I got this family plan. I got all these spots on it. I thought I'd offer you one because, why have a family plan and not let people take advantage of it?"
Right.
So I was like, what the fuck? Why not? So I'm on day 5, I think, of learning Spanish and driving you nuts.
Right.
Yes.
And what did we...
Tú comes manzanas.
I don't eat apples.
You do eat apples.
When they're candied apples.
Tú comes pan.
Bread?
Yes.
Yes. I love bread.
Tú bebes agua.
No, it's Coke.
Tú bebes
Uh-huh.
café.
Yes. In the mornings. Uh-huh. What?
En las
Um,
días. No, that doesn't work.
On my aunt's?
No.
I drink coffee on my
No,
aunt's?
días.
On
In the
days?
days.
In the days.
I don't know. I'm making stuff up.
Yeah, you are. Yeah. You remember yesterday when we talked to your dad and he was like, that's
It
not going
doesn't
to help
matter.
you.
Exactly. But you know what? I am doing something, and in doing this something, in my 5 days of doing something, I am seeing that I knew more than I thought I did, but y'all talk so fucking fast that there's no way for me to ever. But you know that I am sometimes able to figure out what y'all are talking about. Mm-hmm. I don't know exactly what you're saying, but I can sort of follow. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Not all the time.
Yeah. That's true. So you're going to stick with it?
I think so. It's actually really fun. It's maybe more fun watching the widget freak out the more I don't do it. Mm-hmm. Every hour he gets more intense. You want practice? You want practice? You're making me, you're killing me over here because you're not practicing. He gets unhinged every hour that you don't do it. So last night, because I did it so late, he was ready to jump into lava. He was losing it. It's pretty wonderful. But yeah,
funny.
it's fun. I'm going to keep doing it.
Okay. All right.
Why not?
Then maybe eventually we'll have a book talk and the book will be in Spanish.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe.
I am excited. I'm wondering if
You
I'll be
do
able
have-
to read the little Spanish phrases. I do have almost all of Jane Austen's books in Spanish and Lord of the Rings in Spanish.
Don't you have Anxious People in Spanish too?
I do.
Right? That
I
would be
do.
fun. Do a whole anovelconsole episode in Spanish.
We will
Okay.
be limiting our listenership
Oh, yeah. To, like,
significantly.
2 people.
Your parents.
Not even, because they don't listen anymore.
Oh, no. What, Kiko and Mariela? That's it?
Maybe.
If they listen.
Right? No, I think my parents stopped listening when they came to visit during Christmas. And like, we've had enough of them. No more podcast.
That's understandable, I guess.
Right.
2 weeks of being with us. Like, we don't need to listen to them anymore.
No.
We don't need to ever see them again.
No, and come
Damn.
November, whenever we see them again in November, yeah, they're gonna be like, yeah, we're good. We don't need to hear from you guys.
They don't like us anymore.
That's all right. We don't like ourselves either.
True.
So, are you ready for book talk?
Oh, God. Do I have to?
Yes.
I do.
Because we didn't record this earlier because you hadn't finished.
I know. It's been a difficult weekend, okay?
It's been a difficult week.
It has. It has. My poor great aunt came in this morning, and I was like, please don't judge this house. I promise it's normally not this bad, but we've had a rough week. It's been it's just been really busy and just...
Remember Tuesday, how he came in and fell asleep? Basically.
Vaguely.
Everywhere I would plant myself, I would fall asleep.
Yes. Yeah. That was the night that I talked to my dad and stepmom on the phone, and I thought were going to wind up dead because you were like laying across the corner of the bed, and I thought you were going to roll off and like decapitate yourself.
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah.
was dangling off the...
Yeah, that really threw us off a lot. You working 3 days when normally you're at home and you get to make dinner and take care of the dog, and no, we didn't get that this week.
No, you did not.
Nope.
Now you appreciate me more?
Yeah, I do, because I don't like having to eat McDonald's because you're too tired to cook and I don't know how to cook.
All right, this is Book Talk.
This week's book is the dreaded Soichi by Junji Ito. Oh my god. So I'm just flipping over to the back of the book, and it says, I'll get you for this. I'll show you true horror. You know, I can't say that I feel that this is true horror by any means, by any stretch of the definition. Do you want to read the little blurb to us?
Yeah, I'll read it, even though I really don't know how to read.
You need a flashlight?
Soichi, the unhinged second son of the Tsuji family, chews nails and makes them clatter and clack as he spouts horrific curses to bring about the most bizarre happenings. Whether it's a summer holiday or a birthday party, Soichi can turn any occasion into a nightmare in a heartbeat. What is the terrible secret of his origin? Then, tormented by his little brother's never-ending pranks, older brother Koichi has a soundproof room built. Why does it have a series of 4 doors? And there's also the strange phenomenon surrounding the handmade casket their grandfather left behind. What on earth or hell has the family seen there? 10 tales that celebrate the sinister and hilarious world of Junji Ito's favorite anti-hero, Soichi. I know he likes putting Soichi in his stories.
I don't know why the fuck he does.
Could Soichi be like his
alter ego?
Or like
probably
his inner persona or something?
Maybe.
Because it's just goofy.
It is goofy.
And
it's painful.
With it saying sinister and hilarious, I don't think this was meant to be like real horror, just maybe like have a little shock value. I didn't read it. That's just what I'm assuming.
I guess.
What do you think? Tell me about it.
I mean, that theory, I guess, makes sense. But I also didn't find it funny at all. Man, I wanted to DNF this so bad, but you wouldn't let me. I wanted to DNF this shit, like 2 weeks ago? Is that when I started reading it?
Yep.
Because it was supposed to be the book for last week.
Yep.
But then you were like, hey, I've already read this. Why don't you read this and we'll talk about it?
That's quick.
I think we need to quit Itovania. I think I'm getting sick of Ito.
What?
I really do.
What?
We'll see how I feel after Tombs.
So you really beat the fuck out of this book.
No, I didn't.
It doesn't close flat. Like the pages are all warped.
No, they aren't.
Oh yeah, they are.
You hush your face. You're You're
I think
being weird.
it might be because this book is bad and last week's book
Was not great.
Was not great. But think about Tomy and Gio and Frankenstein and all those other books were great.
Fragments of Horror was pretty good.
Fragments of Horror was fucking awesome.
Uzumaki was good.
Right?
I don't know. This really turned me off like a lot.
I think next week's book is going to be a winner.
Soichi is not creepy to me. Well, he is creepy. He's creepy, but he's cringy. And cringy in both, like, ew, and just, this is terrible, and, like, dirty teenage boy stupidness. I don't know. It's just really stupid. Like, it's not scary at all for the most part. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start with this. I gave it 2 stars. Okay.
2 stars.
And I feel like the only reason I felt that generous was because it was kind of cool to see some of the beginnings of like stories in the last volume. You know, I told you one of them was
Soichi's haunted house.
Yes, and with his
The
creepy
cat.
child and the monster woman that he had the child with.
Is the monster woman in
The
this book?
beginning of like how he met her.
Oh.
I'm assuming if it's not her, it's a character exactly like her is in this.
Okay.
It doesn't show any sort of romantic feeling between the two of them, but I'm assuming this is their first encounter because he's still a child. And
Okay.
she's like a monster supermodel. It is so fucking weird, honey.
That does
Wow.
that tracks.
It's so fucking weird. So like that story, okay? Like Soichi is, I don't want to go through all the stories again because I feel like it's also unfair that we're spoiling these entire volumes. Okay, so Soichi is like spreading rumors to his class by like hiding near a group of kids that are talking, like just whispering over and over and over, like feeding it into their minds, like Soichi's really popular, Soichi's really popular, Soichi's really popular. And then like the next panel is like the next day that I'm in class. Oh guys, did you hear? Soichi's really popular now. We should go be friends with him. Yay! Well, he starts some rumors about these 2 really popular girls, and they're both going after the same little gay looking boy in class and like competing for his affection. And this other little girl tells one of the 2, hey, did you notice that other girl who likes him is a lot prettier now? She's been bathing in the swamp to get prettier because the swamp is like magical or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And she's looking at this girl and is like, oh my God, she is so much prettier. Maybe I should go bathe in the swamp. She goes and bathes in the swamp, and turns out that this is one of the rumors that Soichi has been whispering to people. He's waiting at the swamp to take pictures of her bathing in the swamp. And he had like, at the beginning of the story, he was going through some sort of fashion magazine, and this creepy model was one of the pictures. I was like, that looks a lot like the monster woman. And then he like wound up putting that picture up on the blackboard, and all the kids were talking about her, and they had all gotten it in their heads that she was stalking the neighborhoods and like trying to eat children and stuff. And I think it turned out that was another rumor that he started. But then so he's taking pictures of this girl bathing in the swamp, and the creepy model monster lady comes out. And I mean, she's like 15 feet tall. Here, let me show you that panel actually. She's pretty horrific, but she is definitely the mother of his creepy, horrible child.
Oh yeah, that's
later
her.
on. Yes.
That's her, yeah.
In the haunted house with the creepy teeth, and she winds up eating him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's her.
Okay.
So it ends with her coming into play. I do think she may have been... No, I don't think she was in an earlier one. But then, like, there's this other story about the coffin, okay?
Mm-hmm.
His grandpa had built a coffin. He's like, I want to have this nice coffin for when I die. And Soichi's like, well, I want you to build me a coffin, but I want it to be a Western coffin like Dracula, so I can sleep in it at night. So Grandpa builds Soichi a coffin, but he makes him a Japanese coffin. It's literally just a thin rectangular coffin. There's nothing fancy to it. And Soichi's like, no, I wanted this Western coffin. And he shows him like the hexagonal, like Dracula vampire coffin. So Grandpa makes him a hexagonal coffin, but it's literally just a hexagon. Like, it's not elongated or anything. It's just a box, basically. Like a hat box, like a giant hat box. And he's yelling at Grandpa, you did it wrong, you did it wrong. Koichi decides to trap him in this little hexagon just to get him to shut up. Yes. Grandpa winds up dying that night. And then creepy Soichi is like at the funeral speaking into his coffin this curse to bring him back from the dead. And he like just continues for so long building coffin after coffin after coffin, trying to get it right for Soichi. And their basement's just full of coffins because he can't get it right. And he'll never be able to rest until he does. It's so fucking... It's a lot. It's a lot. Soichi's a little bitch.
Yeah.
That's one thing.
That whole "no, I want it right" sounds like your nephew.
A little brat. Yes, a little brat.
Sounds like your nephew when you're like, "No," and he's like, "No, it's this." You're like, "No, it's not."
Yeah. It's It's
a lot. I can see why you didn't like it. Soichi is unlikable.
Incredibly. But then like there was another story where they mentioned his cousin had a billboard fall on top of him. And I remember that being in one of the books that we read before. I do not remember which one. Don't remember the story really. And I don't remember if Soichi played into it, but it turns out that Soichi had like cursed him and the billboard fell on top of him. I don't remember which book that was, but there are a lot of stories with the cousins coming to visit because he really fucking hates the female cousin, Mishina. I don't know. Soichi and Mishina do not get along at all. And him and his little voodoo dolls and his creepy little like voodoo crown thing that he's always wearing. I don't know. Maybe he's the Antichrist. And the Antichrist is really fucking annoying.
He just sounds like a little dildo.
Right? And it's like the parents don't really even think anything of it for the most part. It's really, really strange. Really strange. But I can totally see him making all of them slaves in his haunted house later in life, which is what he did.
Right.
Yeah, he's a demented little fucker. And like the nails thing, like I get that that's supposed to be creepy, but it's just fucking weird.
It is
Isn't
weird.
That creepy?
Have you thought about holding nails in your mouth like he does?
Yes, I have. Every single time someone talks about him having the nails in his mouth, I think about having nails in my mouth. I'm like, damn, they'd have to be like fresh out the package. Like I'm not putting any nails in my mouth after they've already been used to nail something.
It's not even that. It's just like
it's like
nail, depending on what it's made of. You know,
it's not going to taste good,
right? And it will fuck with your teeth really badly. Mm-hmm. Like, how can you stand that pain?
He has low iron, so he sucks on nails.
Is that a thing?
That's how they explain it.
That they explain.
That is not a real thing. No, do not try this at home if you have low iron, please.
I'm talking about in the book.
Yes, that's how they explain it. Yes, that he sucks on nails because he has low iron levels, and he sometimes has to drink blood because he has low iron levels. I think that's why he wants coffin, because he's basically a vampire. He is Dracula. He's Japanese Dracula.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And actually, you know what? Now that I'm looking at it, he's sitting in his little hexagonal box.
Oh, he is.
Yeah. And like, there was another story with his teachers. This one teacher was like, I'm going to take summer break and I'm going to make this kid be normal. But he winds up draining the teacher's spirit and putting it into a creepy doll. And the doll becomes the teacher. And everybody's like, he looks really weird, like he's made of cloth. Like, no shit. He's made of fucking cloth.
That's funny.
Like, I don't know. I was so not into it that I just couldn't find the humor really in any of it. It took me so fucking long to read this. And it shouldn't have. Because, I mean, it took me like maybe 5 hours to read Smashed.
About, yeah.
And yeah.
Shit, not even. It probably took you like 2 hours to get through it.
Roughly. Yeah, I just drug it out a little bit.
I was, maybe it's one of those books where it's depending on who you are or how you see things that it's funny or not.
Yeah.
Because there's, the game Control.
No.
Okay. So there's a game called, yes, you do.
I do.
When I went to GameStop not GameStop, Cybertron that one time, and that dude Matt was there, and we were talking about video games nonstop, and you were like, I'm going to leave, and you went to the car.
Yeah.
The game that I bought that one time, Control.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Some people say that it's very funny because it's like SCP stuff and like paranormal shit and whatnot. And I can't say that some other things are funny. Like there is like this one object that you have to stare at it. If you don't have anything staring at it, it will go on a murderous rampage. And the thing is like a fridge.
What the hell?
So there's this dude, and you can't blink the entire time. So you're just sitting there with your eyes open, and then this dude is there for like 12 hours on a shift. He's like, where's my where's like the next shift? Because I'm tired, I'm in pain, I need to go, I gotta close my eyes. And the next shift never comes, so he blinks and he dies. The fridge kills him.
Hell?
And that's kind of funny, a fridge kills you because you blinked. I find that funny, but the rest of the game is super fucking creepy. I find it excessively creepy. And I remember the completionist video on it. He was like the entire time talking about how funny it was and this and that. And I was playing a game with Thrak the other day, and he's like, oh, I started Control. And I asked him, like, do you find it funny? He says, no, I find it creepy, but I don't find it funny. Like, right. That's what I thought. I thought I was having a stroke when I was watching that completionist video on it.
Well, it makes me think of Anxious People because a lot of people think it's really kind of disturbing and very upsetting.
I thought it was funny as shit the way you described it.
And see, that's the thing. I thought it was fucking hilarious. But there are some people who think it's way too dark and like they had to DNF it because it was like messing with them too much because of like the suicidal stuff in it. But I honestly thought that was funny too. Like, obviously, suicide is not funny, but like the way they handled it was hilarious to me. It was very, very dark humor, but like the whole thing felt like a very almost Office-esque type scenario, but done better, if that makes sense.
Right.
But a lot of people were like kind of traumatized by it or thought it was terrible because of like the heavy stuff. I'm like you thought it was too heavy, yet you had this like rabbit in the bathroom, this person in a rabbit bunny costume. Like, what? Right. I want to sit down and reread it, honestly, see if my perspective has changed at all. I thought it was fucking hilarious.
I think it all comes down to the fact that comedy is subjective.
Yeah, very.
Because there's this one Ace Ventura movie where he's like crossing from one side of a mountain to another on a rappel rope, and he has a raccoon strapped to his back, and the raccoon falls. And when I was a kid and I watched that, I fucking cried.
Oh no,
so hard.
But now you think it's hilarious
because the raccoon fell and died, quote unquote. I don't fucking know because I never saw the movie.
Ace Ventura may not have died.
But like thinking back on it, the scene was pretty funny because the raccoon is falling and he has like his little paw stretched out towards Jim Carrey, going like, wee! And Jim Carrey's like, no, trying to grab it. So it definitely is subjective.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if anybody else was traumatized by that scene when they were a kid.
Probably. Probably.
Right. So Soichi's not great.
Nope, it's not for me. Not for me at all.
This is the Ito book that you've liked the least?
I think so. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Okay.
Yep.
I feel like Melting Classroom would probably be on the same level as that one, but
Melting Classroom?
The Melting Classroom, yeah, we haven't
What's
gotten that book
that?
yet. It's another Ito book.
Oh.
Yeah. We'll probably get to it next year.
I'm ready to read about his cat. I need
Junji Ito's
something
cat?
more,
More what?
I don't know,
Scary?
chill.
Chill?
Yeah.
You know what you could read?
What?
We could do a bonus episode about
What?
Dan Da Dan. I would love for you to read Dan Da Dan.
I don't have a way to read Dan Da Dan.
You can read it online. Doesn't Libby or Hoopla or whatever have free manga for you to read?
I don't think that Hoopla has a ton of manga. I think it's mostly just graphic novels. I can look.
Just take a look. If not, then there's Mangaka Kalat online, and we can definitely read it there because that's the thing that I stream into my phone's app.
I also just don't want to read any more manga.
I think you would love Dan Da Dan. It's
so
so
sick of
fucking
manga.
good.
It's just so
So what?
exaggerated and
And what?
I'm not getting the humor, you know? Man, I got some saga I need to catch up on.
Oh, yeah, you do.
Mm-hmm. How do I spell Dan Da Dan? We're going to look at Hoopla right now.
Dan, D-A-N, D-A.
Space D-A?
No, together.
No.
Dan Da Dan.
Dan Da Dan.
Dan Da Dan, yeah. Is it there?
There is no Dan Da Dan.
Fuck.
Nope.
Okay.
It brought up the Great Courses Video Binge Pass, and the cover features Jesus Christ and Teddy Roosevelt.
What a fucking duo.
Okay, random.
Interesting. Look it up. Look it up on what's it called?
Libby,
Are you gonna look up on Libby?
I can.
If-
Dan Da Dan.
Did you find it?
Oh God.
Is it there? Please let it be there. Please let it be there.
It's there, but they don't have it. I have to select notify me for if they do add it, but they do not have it.
Didn't we have like a Viz Media membership or
I
something?
think I got canceled.
Do you have the app still?
I have to re-download it.
Okay. I think I still have it downloaded. Let me take
If
it.
anybody knows where to read Dan Da Dan online, let us know.
It's definitely
We're digressing here.
It's
Nobody wants
definitely-
to listen to this.
It's definitely
One Punch.
No, it's not on Viz Media. No.
Dan. Nope.
No.
It is not.
It is definitely on
One Piece.
Mangaka Kalat. Let me see. Mangaka Kalat.
I just while we're here, I need you to look at my Duolingo widget and tell everyone what it's doing.
Why is it acting like the Mona Lisa?
And giving me side eye. It's so salty.
Yes, it is. Okay, I found it on Mangaka Kalat. So I am gonna send you the link because I need you to read this because I know you will fall in love with it.
Oh boy.
Hey, if you read enough of it, because it's ghosts and UFOs and paranormal shit, and it's a shonen, so it's like kind of Dragon Ball C-ish, where they have like ESP, and then one of the characters has half the soul of a ghost in him, so he's super fast and is suicidal because of it. I think you would like it. It's so funny, and it's so clever. It's such a smart manga. It's great. It's fucking great. I think you will really like it. And if you read enough of it, maybe we can do a special episode, maybe for Patreon, since we haven't released anything there in a long time.
We have not.
No. But
Oops.
Patreon pays for our hosting, so
Thank you, friends.
yes, because of the people who support us on Patreon, we can bring you an episode every week. Luna's having a nightmare. So let's wrap up book
2
talk.
stars. Boo.
So you don't recommend this one?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I was hoping maybe my screaming boo would wake her up from her nightmare.
No,
but it
I
didn't.
scratched her and she woke up. All right, so let's go ahead and get into some games and stuff. right, for this week's game, we have Castlevania Portrait of Ruin for the Game Boy. For the Nintendo DS. Not the Game Boy DS.
Something.
Yes, it's for the Nintendo DS. It is a Metroidvania game. Developed and published by Konami. The game was released on November 16th, 2006 in Japan and December 5th, 2006 for the Nintendo DS console. Portrait of Ruin is the first Castlevania to feature a co-op multiplayer gameplay mode and the first handheld Castlevania to have English voiceovers outside of the original Japanese release. The game takes place in 1944 Europe during World War II and is a continuation of the story from Castlevania Bloodlines, which is the Sega Genesis Castlevania game. The game introduces protagonist and antagonist. The game introduces protagonist and antagonist to the Castlevania series, as well as expanded on the two character.
You struggling
gameplay.
to read right now?
I feel like this person had a fucking stroke.
Well, that's what you get for pulling your shit from Wikipedia.
Wow.
Oh boy.
Okay, so basically, this is the Castlevania game, the second Castlevania game for the Nintendo DS. I played this game near when it came out because I remember playing it on the DS way, way long ago, and I thought this was my favorite DS Castlevania game. Replaying it this time, unfortunately, it's not.
Oh no.
I don't hate it.
Sad day.
I don't hate it at all.
But you didn't love it.
I didn't love it because I spent about 5 to 6 hours on this game, which is not a lot, right? And for 4 out of those 5 to 6 hours, I used the same weapon. And
that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, because the enemies didn't scale, like they didn't level up too much, weren't too hard. There wasn't really any cool weapons to collect. And you couldn't really upgrade the weapons like you could in Dawn of Sorrow, which I haven't talked about yet on this podcast, and I probably never will.
Oh, I was about to say, are you going to?
Eventually, maybe. I don't know. I don't think so. So basically, you play as Jonathan. What's his fucking name?
Van Ness.
I wish. That would have been better.
Jesus.
No. His name is Jonathan. Let me see here. Jonathan Morris. And you have a partner called Charlotte. And Charlotte. You swap between the two. Jonathan uses, standard weapons. So he has inherited the vampire killer whip, which are the Belmont's whip that they used to fight Dracula. There is a prophecy that Dracula is going to be resurrected in 1999.
Oh.
And
gonna party like it's 1999.
Until then.
With Dracula.
Until then, the Belmonts cannot touch the Vampire Slayer. The Morrises are kind of like cousins to the Belmonts. So they have to hold the whip until then. And they can use the whip and activate the full power of the whip to kill Dracula and whatever. But it will drain their souls and they will die eventually.
Oh, that's lovely.
Which is what happened to Jonathan's dad. Charlotte is a witch that uses books to attack. So she has like a tome of weapons, levels 1 through 3. And there's other books like Tristan and Isolde. So you would attack and a knight on a horse would come out. But there's another one called Don Quixote. And how do you say his name in English?
Don Quixote.
In English, that's how you say it?
In English? That's how I pronounce it when we read it.
Don Quixote?
Mm-hmm.
Where you attack and Don Quixote comes out and hits the enemies. But also, like, she has a bunch of other spells. She has, like, ice and fires, and she can turn you into an owl or a frog or stuff like that to explore more in the castle. Which it's cool. I do like that duo thing, but I feel like the game is so short and so underutilized. Like, you're in World War II, fucking Europe country town.
Europe country town.
Right? You're in.
Okay.
You're in Dracula's castle that got brought back, right? The castle somehow came back because of the amount of lives that were lost during the war. And there's a vampire called Bronner with his two daughters. Bronner.
Okay.
Bronner, right? With his two daughters,
Lovely
Stella.
name.
His daughters are Stella and Loretta. And he wants to take over the castle and become the new Lord of Darkness. So he wants to take Dracula's powers because Dracula hasn't been resurrected, right? And Jonathan is contacted by the church and they're like, hey, we need you to go check out that castle because we think it might be Dracula's castle.
Dun, dun, dun.
So he goes with Charlotte. Inside the castle, they meet a ghost of Eric Lecard, which was best friends with Jonathan's dad. They go through the castle. They beat Bronner. Turns out that Bronner can't really take over the castle because he's inferior to the castle's power. So Death revives Dracula. And then you have to fight Death and Dracula at the same time at the end of the game. And it's a good fight. It's a very, very good boss fight. But I feel like as quickly as I started the game, I finished it. Because it's so short. And the thing is, you have like a main castle, right? And there are segments in the castles where there are portraits. And you can go into these portraits and explore a whole new, complete different area. So you'll go into like a town in, let's say, France. And so you explore this whole town fighting monsters, getting to the end. Once you beat the boss in that area, then that opens up some other area that you can go explore and so on and so forth throughout the entire game. But there's like 5 or 6 of these stages and they're not very big. And then the castle itself is also not very big. And it also doesn't gate you in any ways that are creative. So like you might not be able to go through here because you don't have the frog power, so you can't squeeze through the
frog powers.
Right. You can't turn into a frog, so you can't squeeze through where you have to. Or you don't have the owl power, so you can't reach the area where you have to. So it like I want to like this game because it looks great when you play it. Like the enemy designs are fantastic. It's well animated and everything. But it's just not long enough. It's not long enough at all. And I remember when this game came out, playing it and thinking, this is awesome. And then beating it and being like, that was awesome. But kind of somewhat feeling that it wasn't long enough, but not really thinking about it because I had such a great time. This time, I am thinking about it and I can't stop thinking about how short it is. And it's awesome because you get to see... with Jonathan, you get to free Stella and Loretta from Bronner's control, and then they help you unlock the true potential of the vampire killer. And in the way that you unlock it is by fighting Richter. Richter Belmont from Castlevania Rondo of Blood, or Dracula X if you like the inferior copy that was released in the States. And Richter is my favorite Belmont, right? And the fight is good. Like the fight is actually really fucking good because he has all of his powers from like the game from Rondo of Blood, but that's kind of like the highlight of it, of the entire game, like having to fight him. And I don't even know how much this game is going for right now. Let me take a quick look on eBay. And I will say if it's anything over $40, it's way too much. Portrait of Ruin. The game is going for $80.
80?
$40 to $80. Do not pay $40 to $80 for this game. Pay $40, not $80. Because it is great, but it is not that great. I just gave it one playthrough, and I feel like that was enough for me. It also, it's weird because for the previous Castlevania that I played, I feel like I was on level 50 to 60 by the time I beat it. I was level 37 when I beat this game. So that is not a lot. That's nothing.
No.
And like the weapon variety is so limited. And once you get the whip, powered up, you don't need any other weapon because the whip causes damage, right? It does an extra little bit of damage, and on top of that, it causes holy damage to all of the monsters. So why will you need any other weapon if you have like super whip with you?
Right.
I really want to like it. I really, really want to like it, but it's not. It's not there for me. Let me see what I wrote about it when I beat it. So I gave this game an 8.90. An 8.90 out of 10. What are you doing?
Playing with my watch.
Stop playing with your watch.
I have ADD.
I know, just pay attention to me.
I have ADD.
So, I've been waiting to revisit this one for a very long time. I'm glad I finally did. It's not as amazing as I remember it, but it still plays a lot better than Dawn of Sorrow. So, Dawn of Sorrow is the first DS game. It's a sequel to Aria of Sorrow, which we talked with Burger Champ last year about. I did like a lot of stuff about Dawn of Sorrow because you get to evolve your weapons. You collect monster souls, which you can imbue your weapons with. There's a whole lot of stuff in that game, but the game forces touch controls, which are fucking atrocious. So whenever you beat a boss, you have to do like a pentagram or some sort of magic sigil in the touchscreen with your stylus in order to finally beat it. And I think that's complete fucking horseshit. I hate it. But it does play a lot better than that. My main complaint is that the game takes anywhere from 4 to 6 hours to beat, which makes it feel exceedingly shorter than the other Castlevania games, especially since the main castle isn't as big as the castle in other games, due to it having smaller areas to explore in the paintings in the castle. It is a great concept. I wish it would have been done better, explored better. But I still love this game. I do. It's a great fucking game, even though it's short. I just wish it was longer, had better weapon variety, and I wish that Dracula didn't look like a fucking douchebag. You remember I showed it to you?
Yes.
I was like, hey, look at this Dracula.
He looked so weird.
He's like...
That was awful.
It's like a white dude with black hair slicked back.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Fucking terrible design. This is also the Castlevania. If you would grab them from there, the 3 Castlevania games right here on the shelf. You see them? They're stacked right there on the final thing right on the side. Okay. Grab them, and I want you to look at them. And then I'm going to have you look up some stuff on your phone. So I have Order of Ecclesia. I have Dawn of Sorrow, and I have Portrait of Ruin. Those 3, right? Go to Dawn of Sorrow, which is
Memento.
You're setting back up. Okay, so
Dawn of Sorrow.
Yeah, Dawn of Sorrow.
Okay.
What is the art style?
It looks like anime.
Okay, go to the.
It looks like some Studio Ghibli shit.
Go to Portrait of Ruin. What's it look like? Anime bullshit, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to be sexy.
Right. I hate it. Is
that a man? Because
yes.
he definitely looks like a woman.
Who? Let me see. Yes, that's Jonathan.
Okay, he looks like a woman.
Go to Order of Ecclesia. Isn't that better?
Yeah.
It's a lot
creepier.
Better. Right? And it's darker.
Yeah.
They dropped the anime. I don't know why
they got the vibe right on this one.
So
yeah, no anime.
Dawn of Sorrow is the first one where that they adopted like an anime look to the characters from the art style that they were using on the previous games. Because if you remember last week when I talked about Harmony of Dissonance, the characters were more realistic looking. They were creepier and darker. And in all the other Castlevania games, they've looked like that. And I don't know why they changed this. Apparently, it was to appeal to the West, because the West was apparently getting into anime during this period of time, which was the mid-2000s. Mm-hmm. And a lot of fans were like, it's fucking garbage. And it looks like fucking garbage. But the game still played great. And it doesn't really reflect this anime bullshit in the character models in the game. But I still don't like it. So I'm glad that in Order of Ecclesia, they went back. They backpedaled with that bullshit.
I'm glad they did too.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's funky looking.
Right? Can you imagine Shanoa this girl looking like
No, I can't. She
fucking
wouldn't
Charlotte.
be creepy at all.
Right.
Her ass crack's almost out.
So I'll talk about that on the final episode of the month.
Okay. Her ass crack?
Well,
Her?
her
Her art style? Oh.
her design, more or less, because the thing is, she doesn't use weapons. She collects glyphs, and oh god, I'm dying. From those glyphs, she summons weapons and her magic and stuff. So she has a tattoo in her back that she uses to suck up the glyphs. So that's why her ass crack is showing.
Okay. Good for her.
Yeah. So I do know that there's a bunch of like other stuff that you can unlock on the game. I once I beat it, I kind of just like turned it off and took it out of the DS. I didn't even check. But apparently there's a couple of modes. There's the Sisters mode where you can play as Loretta and Stella at the same time.
Loretta and Stella.
Yeah. They have different controls compared to the normal gameplay, and that attacks are controlled completely with the stylus. That's bullshit. I'm not playing that. There's Richter mode, which I'm probably going to go back and do at some point, where the player controls Richter Belmont and Maria Renard, the two characters from Rondo of Blood. The latter in the first time as a playable character in an American or European release. There are a few minor differences in the control scheme, and they begin with their mobility upgrades, which allow for the player to explore the castle freely from the beginning. Richter is also misspelled as Richter, with dialogue boxes in the game.
That's great.
There's an old axe armor mode, which basically they give you the control of an old axe armor, which is an enemy in the game. And the boss rush mode, where you can go through the bosses in the game, which there's not many. And I think the bosses in this game, I'm not really 100% sure, remembering this, if I'm right or not. But the bosses in this game were pretty much just hit him hard enough until he dies. So.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, I mean, an 8.9 out of 10 for this game.
It's still pretty good.
I did really enjoy it, but it really felt very disappointing with how short it is and how big the lack of weapons there is. Because in Dawn of Sorrow, there are a lot of weapons. It feels like you're constantly changing weapons in the game, like nonstop. But not in this game. So yeah, are we ready for Gorbage?
I am ready. Are you?
I think so. Do you want to introduce it?
I don't remember how I used to introduce it. How did I used to say it?
What feels right?
I don't remember.
Sit back. Pull the microphone. Take a deep breath. Close your eyes. I didn't say exhale. Take another deep breath. Close your eyes. Let it go. Introduce it.
It's time for Gorbage. I don't know. How did I used to say? I'm going to have to go back and listen. I don't like to listen to myself. I don't remember what I used to say. I don't remember.
Just introduce.
It's time for some Gorbage. Give me the Gorbage.
Just say something that feels right. This feels forced.
Let's talk about Gorbage. I don't remember.
It's give me the Gorbage.
This week's restaurant is the popular Southern chain. I don't think this has made it too far north. I don't think.
I don't fucking know.
Zaxby's. I think we've talked about Zaxby's before. We used to eat Zaxby's a lot. I don't know. Because I know Zaxby's is one of those where we're like, we need to Gorbage this. We need to Gorbage this. We need to Gorbage this. But then every time we were going to Gorbage it, it was when it was exceptionally bad.
You Gorbaged.
Did I?
You Gorbaged the sandwich.
Right.
The chicken sandwich. Which was trash. It's garbage.
Yeah, it was not great.
And I think we actually did
Do those chicken tender plates?
I think so.
Yeah, when the coleslaw and shit.
Yeah.
Okay, so right now, in case you didn't know, Zaxby's has their version, a chicken Philly.
Their version of a chicken Philly.
And they also have loaded chicken parm fries.
Yes.
So, I convinced you to go yesterday.
Right.
Luring you in with this sandwich and these fries.
We didn't know about the fries.
Well, no, yeah, we didn't. We found out about those when we got in.
Right.
So I didn't have them, but I did taste them, so I can offer some feedback here. Number one, that sandwich looked amazing. Just looking at it, not even having tasted it yet, it looked awesome.
I hate how good this shit was.
I know.
Let's just start there.
I know.
I hate that it was amazing.
Yes. You can choose to have the chicken grilled or fried.
Right. I personally dislike chicken Phillies. I think they're not right.
Yeah.
If you're not going to eat a regular Philly cheesesteak,
don't eat one.
Get something else.
Yeah.
Get a chicken parm or whatever the fuck. Don't get a chicken Philly because it just feels wrong. That's the first thing. But everything that they did for this sandwich is technically right and it's done well, so it works.
It works very well. It was very, very good. Very tasty. The peppers and the onions were cooked really well.
They weren't usually when you get peppers or on a Philly, they're usually they've just sweated. These were hammered. When they're hammered, they lose all of the watery, peppery fucking taste from peppers, and they taste good.
Right.
So that's what they did with this. They hammered the fuck out of the peppers and the onions, and they were great. The hoagie roll, fantastic. I did not expect for...
I was honestly afraid it would be on toast.
Right?
On their signature toast.
Right.
I don't know how that would work, but...
I'm surprised that the bread was right. You know, the chicken is their fingers, so it's good chicken. It could
I said, you can get it grilled or fried,
right.
And he got it fried.
The cheese on top, it has garlic mayonnaise on top too. It all worked. It worked perfectly well.
It was very tasty.
I couldn't believe it. Like, do you have any standout comments about it?
The cheese. I fucking loved the cheese. There was a lot of cheese. It was very tasty. I kind of wish I had gotten it, honestly.
Yeah.
I do think I want to get it one day for lunch before it's gone.
Yeah. I think they should put it on their menu because it is a home run.
Hey, the one near work has been like consistently sold out almost every week, at least one day.
The Philly?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
How do you know?
Because I've gone there.
You've tried to get it
a couple times.
Oh.
And I have coworkers who've tried to get it and weren't able to.
I see.
Mm-hmm. I almost feel like Zaxby's near work is possibly more popular than Chick-fil-A near work.
Chick-fil-A is
which is saying a lot for a small town.
Chick-fil-A
Chick-fil-A has not been great lately. I had some chicken the other day that tasted like it was raw. It wasn't, but it was fucking weird.
It
was very rubbery.
Extra chickeny taste.
There was just something wrong. Thankfully, I'm not sick. I haven't gotten sick, but it was just, I don't know. I threw most of it away, honestly. It was wacky.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the fries.
Yes.
We're moving on to the fries now.
If you're not a believer of chicken Phillies like I am, this might change your mind.
If you have one near you, go try it.
It's a very, very well executed sandwich. It's great. And the thing that surprised me the most is I saw the bun and I was like, this bun is gonna suck. And I bit into it. I was like, this bun is correct. Like, how did they get so many things right and make it great?
It's impressive.
Right? That sandwich was garbage. Fries. What now?
The fries were okay. So they had not great day with the French fries because your Philly came with fries, my food came with fries, and then you obviously got the loaded fries.
Yeah.
None of the fries had seasoning on them, basically, and I love me some Zaxby's seasoning, so I was a little cranky that the fries didn't have a ton of seasoning, but I think it possibly helped the chicken parm fries not having a ton
With
of that fry
the
seasoning.
salt levels, yes, definitely.
Yes. The sauce was impressive. It did not taste like Prego or ragu poured out of a jar.
I think it might be the marinara that they have in the packets, because they do have a marinara.
They do?
Yes, it tastes like marinara. You know, it has its herbs and it's tomatoey, but it doesn't taste tinny, or it didn't taste chemically fortified for shelf life. It tasted like a decent marinara, and it had what was the white sauce? Was it more of the garlic mayonnaise,
I need to look at my picture. Let me look here.
or was it some sort of cheese sauce?
I think it may have been cheese sauce. Let me look.
Um,
I think it was just cheese sauce.
just cheese sauce. Yeah, it does look like a cheese sauce.
Wait, so there was there shredded Parmesan on it? I
Yes,
can't remember.
there was a
Okay,
ton.
so cheese sauce and shredded Parmesan and mozzarella.
It was shredded Parmesan. It wasn't canned Parmesan.
Yeah, I can see it now.
It tasted like Parmesan.
Like from the tubs that we get. Like
Yes.
legit Parmesan, not powdered.
And it was, right Parmesan where it's dry, but it's also nutty and cheesy and amazing. And the chicken was just, again, they're perfect tenders. These were fucking phenomenal. They were
You
garbage.
didn't offer me another bite before you finished it.
No.
That was very mean of you.
I gave you a bite, and then I just kept eating and eating and eating.
And then I looked up and it was gone.
I was like scraping the last bit of Parmesan from the container.
Was it the same cheese that was on the Philly? No, right?
It could be.
It looks the same.
It could be.
Maybe.
It doesn't matter.
Hey, they
It was
put a
great.
whole heck of a lot of it, and it was awesome.
And so I got the Philly and I got the fries, and it's two separate combos. So like one is the fries, and it comes with a drink if you ask for it as a combo. But I also got the sandwich, and the sandwich was a combo as well. It was a lot of food that I ate. I ate a shit ton.
Yeah, no wonder you weren't full till... No wonder you couldn't finish your tacos at dinner.
Right? Which never happens.
Right? It was weird.
I like that. What we had at Saxby's, fantastic. I would go back and get that exact same order every time we go to Saxby's because it was great. Do you have anything else to say?
I definitely would like to go someday at work and get both of them on 2 separate days before they're gone.
Okay.
Because I didn't get enough. But they were I was really surprised. And the sauce was the sauce was good. That marinara. That was one of the first things that hit me when I took a bite because it was very flavorful.
Yeah. I just felt insulted the entire time.
Because you have gotten to the point where you kind of loathe Zaxby's. Which one do you loathe more, though? Zaxby's or Chick-fil-A?
Chick-fil-A, obviously.
Yeah. I think you just get butthurt that I don't like KFC. I think that's a lot of it.
No, I get butthurt that you don't like Churches.
I like Popeyes.
Churches. You don't like Churches. I love Churches.
I don't really like Churches. I don't like fried chicken. I don't like fried on the bone chicken. Give me chicken tenders.
That's so fucking weird.
I know.
No, what thing that I was saying is that it annoys me when a chain has legit good food, right? Because the way that this food felt like I would get it at a pub. Would it be?
Yeah.
I don't see Saxby's being quality enough to give me such a good sandwich. Like I took a bite out of the sandwich, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" Like.
It's good.
It doesn't belong in a Saxby's menu. And then the fries, and I was like, what the fuck? Is it the people in the kitchen?
Probably. I mean, I'm sure that has something to do with it.
Because I know this is
think
not
it's
corporate.
all, but I don't know. Because good question. But I mean, I thought it was incredibly tasty for a chain. Especially makes me sad knowing that they will inevitably go away and probably never come back.
Right.
Just like when Zaxby's disappointed me when they took away that birthday cake milkshake.
Birthday cake
I'm
shake.
still
You
bitter
won't
about
shut
that.
up about
Like
that.
I said, the last birthday cake milkshake I remember having was when we got off the plane back from Europe.
10 years ago.
Yeah, 10 years ago this past summer. Shit, I'm fucking old.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah, it was. Damn.
So yeah, that's garbage. I really don't like giving chains like this garbage because, you know, they're just faceless corporations that don't deserve it. But
It was garbage.
I mean, you would pay for this sandwich and these fries $15-$16 anywhere else.
Very true.
And it was like $8 for each per.
Yeah, it really wasn't bad.
Yeah, they're great. Like if you got a Saxby's near you, and
So you know, one day this week when I ask for lunch money, that's where I'm going.
it's all right. I think I might do the same thing.
Is there one near work?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So like I was saying, if you can have this somewhere else and it will not be as good. If you have a Saxby's near you and you've been on the fence like I kind of was with that sandwich,
It is actually quite
just
good.
do it. It's worth it. It's very well worth it. So that's it for garbage. That's it for this week's episode. Is there anything you want to say before we end the show, Carradine?
No.
No?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing.
I'm excited for next week's episode.
You are? Oh
Yes.
yeah, I am. I'm not excited about reading, but I'm
okay.
excited about the episode.
We'll probably get through it tomorrow. So
Yeah, probably.
yeah. All right. So that's it for this week's episode of A Novel Console. Carradine, do you want to say goodbye to everyone?
Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye, everyone.